Joining us today on MSUEagles.com, the head volleyball coach at Morehead State, Jaime Gordon. And Jaime, you're getting out of summer mode, which has been extremely busy, and you're cranking things up here in the preseason as practice is underway here at the end of the week. First off, before we get into specifics about the 2014 campaign, wanted to hit a couple topics that keep you real busy in June and July. Number one is camps. You host camps here in Rowan County, and you have a lot of satellite camps. If you could just give us an overview of how those went this summer.
Sure. You know what? They went great. We had a fantastic opportunity to work with a lot of young people, literally all over the country. I mean, from Texas up to Michigan and everywhere in between. We also had some very successful camps on campus. Here we had 30 teams in for our team camp, a little over 300 players just for that camp alone, and then our position camps, elite camp, and it's always exciting to be able to showcase such a great campus, great environment, and the feedback that we got from both the coaches and the players was really encouraging, and I think anytime we do have that opportunity to kind of show things off here, it's a great thing.
Recruiting is an area that never stops, 12 months a year, on campus, off campus, phones, emails, lots of people involved. I know you can't mention any specific names of prospects, but just tell us overall in terms of the program, how things are going from a recruiting standpoint.
They're going great. We're very excited about where things are and even how far ahead we are in the recruiting process. We've got some real exciting players that we anticipate to be joining us, and that's been a result of some really hard work by Kirsten Becker, who is our recruiting coordinator, Ed Tolentino, and myself. That we're allowed 80 days out on the road and each year, and we use all, but you usually leave one in the back pocket just in case our math skills are a little bit off. But that there's no doubt that's a lifeblood of any program, any sport is recruiting, and we really put a lot of effort into it, and we're excited about the young people that are choosing to join our family.
Every senior class kind of leaves its legacy or its mark, and especially in Morehead State volleyball, you've had a lot of successful classes. And before we get into this year's group, wanted to hit on Erin Bohannon, Leslie Shellhouse, and Lindsay Roth, who were your three leaders last year. And kind of as you reflect on last season and what that group did for the program, what are your thoughts?
When you allow the numbers to speak for themselves, I don't know that there's been very many senior classes in any school, any program in the history of volleyball that have accomplished as much as they have. They had really over the last 4 years the top conference winning percentage of any graduating class in the country. I think Hawaii's class was number 2 and Florida number 3. But it's not so much those wins and losses that they brought. It was an attitude, expectation of excellence. What they did in the community, in the classroom, was fantastic. And the great thing about those three is that their legacy is going to continue. Just because they won't be putting on the uniform for us, the impact that they have on our younger players and even recruits. So we've got a couple of liberos that have come on visits and said, "Hey, I want to be Leslie Shellhouse," and that says a lot about what they've done and the mark that they'll leave well beyond these next couple years.
As we turn the page to the 2014 campaign, you've got 3 seniors who will lead you this year: Laura McDermott, Colby Cameron, and Alex Fitzmaurice. And just your thoughts on that group.
Man, it's a very talented group right there, and ones that have been very mature, been around. We've got 2 players, 2 of those seniors that are in their 5th year of college, and so they're a group that we're really going to rely on. And we've got to be a little bit different in how we score points and the identity of this team, and they're going to be a key piece of how we anchor that. They're very physical, very athletic, very passionate, but also incredibly talented and capable. So we're going to rely on that group a lot, and we look forward to seeing for them to be able to step up and shine.
Your team has achieved excellence consistently in the athletic arena, 4 straight Ohio Valley Conference regular season championships. As you kind of head into the 2014 season, I guess, what is the biggest X factor in your mind, or maybe the biggest unknown that'll dictate the amount of success you have here in the upcoming year?
It's what the identity of this team is going to be. There's no doubt when you graduate the 3 that we did, and what they meant to us in our ball control and defense, that's a big void to fill. Now, I feel incredibly confident about the players that will step into that, but at the same time, we have a different strength returning. We have an outstanding core of middles and right sides, setters. So I think the way that we score points is going to be a little bit different maybe than we have in the past. And I think the preseason is going to be key for us in how we establish that identity, but also as a team, how we embrace that and really start to allow that to be what Moorhead is known for this year. I mean, there's even within that run of success of having 4 consecutive conference championships, each team has been very different. Each offense that we've run has been different. Each defense that we've run has been different. And so the preseason is a matter of really trying to figure out, hey, what are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What do we need to defend? But then what can we really utilize to step up and be kind of the moniker for this season's team?
Before we let you go today, I wanted to touch on the schedule. I remember a year or two ago you opened the season with Penn State, Louisville, and Western Kentucky in a tournament. I think they were all top 30 in the nation at the time. Penn State was the defending national champs. This year you've got on the non-conference slate schools like Louisville again, which will be at home, a big date at Weatherby Gym. Arizona State comes to one of your non-conference tournaments. You've got Purdue and Notre Dame on the road, and the list goes on, and then obviously a challenging conference schedule. But I guess my question for you, Jamie, is how does the grueling non-conference schedule help prepare you for OVC play and help you win championships in the league?
It's about process. Even as we establish what we want to accomplish this year, everything is all about process, and we don't get concerned about the wins and the losses. It's about the performance. It's about how we approach something when we're in that situation, how we address it, and then afterwards, what we learn from it, whether it's a win or a loss. We've always had a very competitive non-conference schedule, and part of that is that our goal is to be one of those best programs in the country, and so in order to do that, you've got to compete with them night in, night out. And I think when you have the opportunity to play teams like Louisville and Kentucky and Arizona State and Purdue and Notre Dame, and the list goes on, and Dayton and Marshall, that does get you ready for a very competitive OVC schedule. I think this year in the conference is going to be quite exciting. I think there's some teams that last year were young and really starting to make some great moves, and so now they've got experience. They're hungry. They know what it takes to be successful, and I think this is going to be a very challenging and very exciting OVC season. I'm looking forward to it. I know our team is looking forward to it, and I think the pre-conference schedule is a must for us to be ready to step in there and go to battle.
A final comment from you today just on the strength of the league and maybe some of the top schools that will be giving the Eagles a run for their money. I think the preseason poll will be announced next week sometime, but just kind of your thoughts overall on the league as a whole and maybe some of the top competitors you'll face this season.
Sure. I think that, again, the league is really solid. I'm anxious to see and looking forward to see how the OVC as a whole does in the first 4 weekends when we're playing other conferences. I think we're going to see some surprises. I think you're going to see some upsets. Matt, I'm not that dumb to start saying who I think is going to be strong in our conference and who I don't think is going to be strong in our conference. I'm not going to give anybody that locker room material. But I think that's one of the things. This is actually my 12th year going into my 12th season in the OVC. And one of the things that I do know is that even as in the beginning of the year when we write down who, as coaches, we predict finishing what. I've never been great at that. And part of that is because there's always a couple teams that surprise you. They found a couple of hidden recruits and gems, or they've worked so hard in the spring of developing a couple young players, and all of a sudden they just pop onto the scene. And I think that's been sort of the identity of our conference, is that you never know what to expect. And it doesn't matter whether it's the first place team in the standings or the last place team in the standings. You know that you're always going to get their best fight. And so, I think we've got 16 matches. Every single one is going to be a battle. And I think that's one of the reasons that maybe we've been able to have some success, is the way that we approach, and our players have approached it, is that everybody has got the potential to not just beat you, but to beat the snot out of you and make a quick match of it. So, hopefully we'll be prepared from a competitive pre-conference schedule, and we're excited about it.
Morehead State has won 4 straight Ohio Valley Conference regular season volleyball championships, and he's been the leader all 4 seasons. Head coach Jaime Gordon, we appreciate your time today. We'll check in with you again soon.
All right. Thanks, Matt.